So there's one more little job I have to do on the 20 diesel, and that is just to work on the pulley on the Dynamo. So I haven't started up the go belly in a good while now, so I'm going to give that a cold start, move it outside and bring the 20 diesel up here, because it's a nice bright evening and you should dacker on to the Eshkin here and sun, so it can be a bit hard to see what's going on out the back there. So it's lighting, so I have the petrol turn on this, see how it starts. So that was a little bit, I don't know, like I was running too lean and I was spitting and farting, but sure, that's the nature of them. Once you have a runner for a while, then it seems to kind of level out a bit. So yeah, this isn't on very tight there at the front, so I'm going to move that forward, put it at a bit of angle, and we'll try and get as much of the daylight in as we can. So, and that'll be, I just thought about it there today. I realised hadn't made sure that the pulley was in line with the belt. So we're still charging. I know some people watching probably think that that little arrow on the ammeter isn't, you know, moving a whole lot. But as I said, this is 1,000 cold cranking amps in that battery, and it never really seems to need much charge. And remember, the regulator will know that, and it'll slow down the charge, it'll reduce it. So, that's what I think is going on there more than that. Now, so we need a few spanners, a half-inch socket, half-inch spanner, and we were 11/16 there as well. So that's all we need. So we've got to loosen. I don't know will I be able to do this with the Dynamo on. I might be able to if it goes in far enough in there past the radiator cowling. And that'll save us having to take it off. If we take it off, it's not the end of the world. We're going to try and do this right. The colour of grey on this is a little bit different to the rest of the tractor. There's a bit of a mix up a couple of years ago when I was getting grey done. But doesn't matter. Okay. So loosen these lads under here as well. Lighting's definitely a bit in better out this side of the shed with the door open. This is really now is where I should be working on the tractors and just storing them up the back, especially for videos, so you can see what's going on instead of me having to use a torch the whole time. Okay, so that should push in. I'm going to keep that. So that's that. I don't know if I think off the nut there, I loosened that already. We should have a spring washer there as well. We'll push it a bit more and get this belt off. Probably should have left the bolt nut on before I got it. Anyway, now push that in as far as well, see what it comes out. And it does. Excellent. And of course my spring washer's fallen in there. I'll get a torch and see where that's done. Okay. Brilliant. God knows when that's after falling now. Right, I see it there. Okay, one spring washer. Right, now if we look at our old Dynamo here, well, technically this is newer than the one that's fitted, but the one that used to be fitted, so I just have to put tape on it there to keep the keyway in place. So what I'll do is take off that tape and I might take out the keyway. I'm going to take out this washer because I know this washer, I think I put a slit in it there to get past the keyway. This could be useful as a spacer. I think the other washer I threw in the washers, a little basin of washers there, a little box tub or whatever you want to call it. I'll get this bit of tape off. Okay, I'll try and get this washer off. I think I put a filed a little slit in this. If not, I'll just try and poke it. Oh, there's the keyways are coming out there nice and easy. So that's a washer. I think I have another one here. Oh yeah. I might need a little bit longer to find the other one now. Yeah, so I'll just take this as a reference and I'll go and have a look through my washers and get another one. Looking at this paint colour now, I do have plenty more of this paint, but so I can always paint over that and have it the same. At least it's painted now anyway. So the first job is just to pull out the keyway, and that's the beauty of stripping all this stuff down and cleaning it all up, greasing it all up. It all comes apart nice and easy. So in the last Dynamo I had two of them spacers in, and they are pushing up against this truss washer, so it's not as if it's going to be turning against the body of the Dynamo. So just to show you that, so the truss washer is just to get it to focus there now. It's just there, you can probably see it turning. That's meeting the bearing, so all of that will turn, and then these can be used as a spacer. Now we do have two more pulleys as I showed in the earlier videos. Any of these could be fitted. So as we see with that one there, there's a big chunk on the back of it. Compared to that one, there's basically very little. So the likes of this probably would be a better job, I would say. If we'll even get it on, I don't know, because it's a lot wider. So might have to take off the Dynamo to check this one out, would I? Yeah, not worthwhile scratching things. But we did have this on, and I like the look of this one. It's not broken anywhere at all. Put back in our keyway, suppose, first. Now I know I left a slot in one of these, so I'll put that slot to the front. That just helps kind of the keyway go in. There we go. I like to angle that so that it's a bit narrower at the start to help this go on. See where we're at. There we go now. So now we have to get our torch and have a look in there to see what do we think. Are we in line? Are we in line? Not too bad, it's a little bit back, I think. Let's throw on the belt. It's definitely too far back without the spacers. So have a look at it there. I'll pull that out. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see it's still a little bit back. If you can just see how it wants to go forward there because there's a gap that's there. And this fan belt as well, I think needs to be wider. That would help a lot as well. Just too narrow. So I would say myself, one more spacer would nearly do it. Yeah, my chance one more spacer. So this is the truss bearing that's in there, right? The truss washer, I should say, that rubs up against the bearing, right? So I had a look through my parts bin and I found this truss washer, right? And I said I'd chance it for a fit, and it goes right in. Now the beauty of this is it's a little bit thicker than the one that was in there, and at the same time it doesn't really take up much space. Of course I can't get the bloody thing out again, get a cloth, try and get a grip on it. But it's definitely a bit more thicker. It's like the grease has a grip on it. There it is, it's coming there now. So that's the one that was in, and that's this one. So that's going to act like a nice spacer. It's a really nice machined metal, so that'll fit in there. And you know what, I'd probably better off, I know, just in case it does work out, I'm going to put a bit of grease in around that, and in case it works out, this will help. It'll help just push that in towards the bearing. Plenty of it in there. That'll all just, well, it's a nice machined part. Okay, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're sure going to find out in a minute. If our keyway goes in, okay, our keyway fits in perfect. I'm fairly sure that was off something similar, like an alternator or something. It's definitely a truss bearing. Now the issue then, of course, is it's still just a little bit far back from my liking, but it looks a lot better than washers. That's the only thing. I don't like bodge jobs, but at the end of the day, I did need to sort it out. Do something to sort out it being so far back. I know I probably am better off using the thicker pulley with that at the back, but with a big lump out of it, I'd be frightened that that would start cutting into fan belts. So I'll chance one of these washers. There's a slot on one of them. That'll just go over the keyway. Yeah, maybe now that might just be enough to push it forward the right amount. It still doesn't look bad. No, it doesn't look bad. Right, I'll throw the belt up on it there and we'll see how she's looking. Put a bit of tension on it. Yeah, it's still a little bit off. But I don't think it's going to be, as I said, I do need a better, wider fan belt I think that would sort a lot of the problem as well. That would definitely sort some of the problem, and they can do that easy enough. Excuse me. So, since I have another washer here for the crack, I may as well try and see what is it like with the second one on. I might have to file the slot a bit wider in that. No, I don't. No, just see. I don't like the look of it now, being honest with you, but if it just lines it up, I'd leave it on until I get sorted. Come off the pulley, crank pulley there. So I'll put that back on. Yeah, that's looking a lot more centralized. So we'll just quickly put on the spring washer. That's if we have enough thread. I don't want to be left with very little thread out the front of it. I might have to forsake our spring washer. I'll have to leave that to one side for a while. So I did have to retread the end of this commutator shaft. The last thing I want is this getting loose. I'm anyway not happy with how this is tightening up. There's not enough meat there. I'll take out that extra washer. Just fit there. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not happy with the amount of turns that started getting there now. Just in case it could ever get loose, you could leave it stuck. So, no. Play it safe now until I get a better fan belt. I think that's the clever thing to do now. Come off, you fecker, you. Now, move the camera there. It's a little bit hard to see what's going on too close there to the radiator. Yeah, so we're a little bit off. I'd say at most, if I was to even find a narrower washer, we'd be alright. But no, I think this doesn't have to be 100% in line. So it doesn't. Especially when I think the wrong fan belt is kind of on it anyway. I think things will straighten up a lot when we get the right one on it. I remember buying that on a fan belt. Suppliers, kind of bearing suppliers and fan belt. And I remember bringing in the old one. And they literally just matched it up. I'm sure the old one was wrong as well. That's what I'm thinking now. So we'll get a bit more purchase on that, as they say. So I'm not happy with the threads on the end of it. I will take out the spring washer and put a flat one. It's a fairly thick spring washer, that now. But the spring washer is important for keeping everything tight and stopping that nut loosening. And I'm definitely getting a few more spins on that there now. I'll be happier with that. I wasn't happy with the way it was there now the last time. So that should do it. As you see there, to get the tension on it, it nearly needs to go back further than that bracket is coming. So I did have another one of these. I ended up using it on a job on a Ferguson 168. Just a little bit short there. You can see it's starting to stick out. So that's an issue there. So let's have a quick look and see can I get a longer one of them. So the only other one I have spare is this, because I used my longer one up, so that's too short. So we're just going to have to go with what we have for the time being. It definitely does need a longer bracket or a wider fan belt of sort of too. Let's see roughly how far it'll come out. Yeah. So while I'm here, I'm going to hit that with file it out a bit more. May as well. If I had a very good die grinder, I'd be able to use that as well. Hopefully. Yeah, I've come out a good. It's a very sharp file that. So we'll just, don't want to come out too much. Yeah, I can see there. I might get the die grinder at that now. I've been giving that a good bit of filing lately and it's just gone a little bit out of shape. So I'll get the die grinder come back. Die grinder, I can't really get it at a very good angle, but I'll probably do it from both sides. Okay, come out a nice bit there. That's nice and round as well, so that should help things a little bit. Get that in first. Lovely. So we'll see how that lines up now. Right, so that's on. So I'm just going to nick these back up and see how we're looking. I'm very happy that I found that truss washer there. So I know that came off either a Dynamo or an alternator, most likely Dynamo. I haven't held that with an alternator. Okay. Yeah, so that's after coming out there a bit because it was flush at the end of that. So, and yeah, tension is a little bit better. Doesn't take a whole lot to turn the dynamos, of course, but at the same time, we do want to keep a bit of tension on the belt. So, this being a Lucas part, I'll have to keep that. Now this Dynamo was on an engine that I stripped. The cylinder block is there. There's actually a few videos of me stripping that down completely to the bare block. That was on that engine. This is wrong when it's for a car because it's open. The tractors always are closed because you can imagine working in a dusty field and all that. You don't want all that going in there. So that was the wrong Dynamo. And she is 1964. So they fit and all of that, but and then she is C40 as well. She is C40. They were all C40 basically. The only difference, you know, sometimes they're for the right hand side of an engine and sometimes they're for the left, and there's different. They were just different backing plates on them there. So on the left hand side, it would be that lad would be sticking out there and all that. So that is, unfortunately, now is only scrap. I've taken anything good out of it. What I might do is knock off the front of that and just take out the truss washer out of it now that I see they're useful. I did try taking some of these out as well because they can be handy. Sometimes they're destroyed from if they were ever taken out before. Some people use punches, so I am still not going to give up on this for parts. I'm going to try and, as I said, even if I just salvage one of them, because we've already seen they're very handy, and you never know. If I had another one of them, I could grind it a bit narrower and I could have used it with that. But anyway, we're sorted now, I think. So that's the crack with this. The rest of that then will just be scrap. We have a spare Dynamo that's working. It's not Lucas. I don't know where it's made. I think I got it from the old 20 parts company, Dynamo generator motor. And of course, when these stop working, it's just literally a matter of throwing them in the Busker Brewster in the bin. So we've our keyway kept in place there with a bit of tape, and we have them two washers there with the slots, and that'll go over the keyway for spacers. If we ever have to use it again, we won't be looking for them, that we have it. So all I'm going to do now is try and tap out this commutator shaft. And do you know what, I might as well keep you with me, because as we've seen there how handy these truss washers are, I would like to salvage another one if I can. So what can we do here? You can try tapping that down through. May as well, before we put it in the scrap pile. May as well. It's a bit too high for the camera, so I'll just stand it back there. Okay, we're starting to expose a bit of the truss washer there. That's good. That's what we want to see. A heavier hammer. So there's our truss washers are popping up out of it. So lovely, as we've seen already. Handy little fecker to have. So we'll compare that to this, and it's strange enough, it's a little bit narrower, so that could have easily worked with that on my own Dynamo. So as we see, it's all making sense now. You know, tipping this part out now is salvage some parts first. It's rotten. She is rotten by. So we'll keep tapping her down, tapping her out. I think it's fair to say that this was never going to go doing anyone any good. Rotten. Anyway, might tap out the old bearing as well, just to have a look at it. Okay. Yeah. Rotten. Luffa, as they say around here. Luffa. Bruchach. Rotten. So that actually isn't too bad. They actually clean up lovely, you know. only copper, so slight rub. Slight rub and she comes up. Lovely. Maybe that's a little truss there as well. Might be able to tap him off. I like having all these because it's machined metal. It's machined metal and it's imperial. So that's strange enough there now. It's starting to look like it's really contact them off. Looks like it might come out. I think it's held on by something else. It's turning anyway. There's a split in it there. Unless I put the split in it, did I? Unless it's that weak, it's actually broke. Or is it a bearing? I thought the bearing was left at the end of it, I thought that was the bearing. Unless that's another truss, is it? I think that's another truss, and what we have there is the bearing. That's why it's actually after breaking there. I thought it was a truss washer. It's actually a bearing. Yeah, so that was no good to us anyway. There is something in the end here that I want to knock this lad out. I like the look of him, especially considering what we've just spent a few minutes doing. I think that might be a little handy thing to have. So I might get a socket. In at that. There's nothing there worth salvaging, I don't think. So that's riveted on. We can bend him down. I'm going to try and tap him out. So let's get a socket. Get a few sockets there. And try and do the least amount of damage as possible. So what's that? Anything bigger? Get a nice snug sit on it. For zoom, it wants to come tap in that way. We're nearly out of this stuff. We are. I assume it wants to go down. If it doesn't, we'll tap it from the other way up. If it doesn't, we'll try it the other way. Extension on it. A lot of people would have just thrown that away the way it was, but you see how handy them little truss washers come in. She is fairly happy where she is now, I think. The torch and have a look and we'll see what's happening. Yeah, I think it might want to tap. It shouldn't make a difference. It looks like it's able to tap in anyway. But then again, you'd imagine it'd be important where that it stops. You'd imagine it'd be a stop somewhere to locate it. Or maybe we in there. We are. I want to make sure I'm hitting it and not that. And that's going to make life easier now anyway. We can cut the fecker out if we have to. That to me looks like a truss of some kind. So if we have to, we can drill out them 3 rivets. But you know what? Sunday evening here, there's feck all else going on. I think we're going to drill them out. I think we'll drill them out. And we'll see what these things are really made of. There's a little metal bracket plate here. So I don't know, is that plate ever going to be needed? I can tell you, for too long, it's hopefully going to fall on the ground. Go for a slightly bigger one now, it should fall straight off. Should fall straight off into our hands. We'll see what's happening behind it then. Exactly as I said, right into our hands, so that could be a handy little lad to keep. And then we have the other side here, as I presume that'll just tap straight through. Should we be chancing for a tap? We'll gamble it now. We'll be certified Lucas mechanics now before too long. Keep going at this rate. So I think there's just a little plate on that. Looks to be metal. I'll get a screwdriver and see. It's very well corroded here now, so it seems to be a plate on it. Position the camera a little bit better there now and focus it. Lovely. Okay, there isn't a plate. Now there is on the Dynamo that I fitted on the tractor. All that was actually doing was holding the, just basically where the rivets are coming through, so there's no extra metal plate on that. So maybe there was on the earlier ones. Now we can see what's happening here. And the reason why I thought that was a truss washer. It's not, it's a bearing. That's your bearing. It's seen better days. So that has to tap out. Maybe that's why I wasn't tapping out. Because this plate was behind it. So to replace the bearing, you would have had to take out them rivets. Right. You know what I'm thinking now? When I see that. I'm thinking the amount of lads that would have handed in dynamos to be reconditioned, and lads didn't bother their arse replacing the bearings because there was too much mess and to be doing too much rivets and shit like that. One Lucas bearing, and you know what it is now? I'd say with a bit of cleaning, it actually probably isn't that bad. yeah, a bit of cleaning is actually, it's not near as bad as you'd think. So that's interesting. So we didn't need to do that at all. Interesting to see what make bearing it is, if there's anything written on it. Is it a Timken or what? So if that's that, this must be some form of a truss washer. It seems to be. Sitting around, oh yeah, I see what's happening there. There is a split in it. And it's sitting on a machine surface. So I think you have to open the split. I could be wrong. I think there's some form of a split on that there. Yeah, there's a split on her. So that must be your truss washer. Interesting. So these are the rivets. So I'm going to keep them because they can be used again for another job, because once it's shorter, well, it'll work, won't it? And it's not every day you come across rivets like that and nothing anymore. I think there's probably a way to squeeze this. Try and get it to open. It's definitely catching something there now anyway. And it's on a machined, slightly narrow machine surface, that's how it catches it. But regardless, it's not in the greatest shape. So that's scrap. That is scrap unless you want to use it for, I don't know, putting a load of screwdrivers in or something. Kind of cool. Polish it up and show off to Lucas maybe. Yeah. For punches or something, you know, you could put it on there. On your workbench and throw in a load of punches, maybe. That's the only kind of use I'd have for a load of screwdrivers, maybe, or a load of files, you know. Be nice. And it's heavy, it's not going to go falling over the whole time. So I might keep it for something like that actually. There's no point. Otherwise it'll be going into my shed extension. Yeah. So that's where we're at anyway. We've got this looking a good bit better. Things are lining up a lot better. And it seems to be working. So I'll have to bring her for a spin, because I find when she's on the road and you're giving a good bit of rev is a good test for your fan belt. If it is slipping, I'll get a wider one to help. So anyway, I think that's it. I forgot to do that job, and I said I would video it because, again, the job wasn't complete there after part 4, so I may as well just put that in the end. This hasn't been getting as much attention as this, of course, so it's only getting little bits and pieces. I didn't record an awful lot of work done to this, so it was, by the time I started recording about a couple of months back, it was only finishing touches and little finer details. But, so look, I'll leave it there for this evening, and we'll catch you back at the next video. So slán tamil. Last quick video, because when I was bringing this tractor back into the shed, I gave it a little rev and I noticed that the arrow is moving a lot more now. So we'll have a look at that now. So I'm happy enough with that. So I definitely think there was fan belt slipping issue there as well. So I'll keep an eye on it, and keep an eye out for a longer bracket, or I'll just file a bit more off that. But I think now that we see that arrow moving a bit more, and I gave it a few revs there as well after I brought it in, so the battery's probably fully charged. So I'd say after starting it and then revving it, I'd say you'd probably see more travel in the arrow as well, to the plus side. So I just said I'd add that in just so we can see that our work was worthwhile, and we'll call that a job oxo. I might just paint that the grey that the rest of the engine and chassis is painted in. So I tried that. It's probably closer to the bonnet. The bonnet was a different colour as well. That's another story. But anyway, I think we're going to call that job on the Dynamo job oxo, and we'll catch you in the next video.